Hi friends, welcome to one more video on sale or transfer of asset to employee, and even it will be applicable for shareholders also. Is it going to be subject to VAT? So let's look and see whether this is applicable or not and how this can be unwrapped. We are going to look at one case law which is being designed for this explanation purpose. The case goes like this. We have a UAE VAT registered company. Yes, it is a registered company. Has a fleet of cars for the purpose of business. So first of all, let's remove the ambiguity whether this is for the purpose of business or available for personal purpose or not. Just remove the ambiguity to get this case clear. In this case, these vehicles are used purely for business purpose. Logbooks are available. These are not even available for personal consumption or usage. So that's a case background we are talking about. Now, what happened in this case is the companies being the assets are for the legitimate purpose of business, they have claimed the input tax also, since all these cars were purchased on or after 1st January 2018, which is an applicability of UAE VAT law. Now, what happens in 2021, as in some of the companies, 2020 was a booming year, they earned multi-bagger profits. For some, it was not. But what we are talking about, a company which earned a good amount of profit. And they said to the director that you are due for an incentive of 200,000 dirhams. Interesting point. So the director was quite excited. However, he said, can you give me the car rather than giving me the bank check or a transfer to the bank or cash? I'll be happy to take a car in exchange of the bonus which you are going to give me. So that means just remove my bonus value and give me the car in exchange. As a company, the valuation process was also conducted and found that value of the car was almost equal to 200,000. So the company said, perfectly fine, let's remove your bonus portion and we'll give you a car as an exchange. Now the question comes, very interesting. Can we consider the transfer of asset, which the director is receiving, as a VATable transaction or a not VATable transaction? The answer to the straightforward thing is no. It is a VATable transaction. It is definitely subject to a standard rated VAT. But how come? Let's try to see the transactions which are hidden in the single sequence of transfer of assets. So if you see logically, there are two transactions which are happening when you are transferring the asset to an employee, even a director. The first transaction is a salary account. That means you are counting it as a salary. And the second transaction is a transfer of asset. So we need to look at both the transactions or as many transaction legs which are available in a sequence so that you can unwrap the transactions which are VATable and which are not VATable. In this case, even if you don't debit the salary, there is definitely a deeming provision or a deemed provision comes into play and VAT applicability triggers in. However, in this case, as we said, the salary account is also getting debited, and from the salary account, you are transferring the asset as a value of car to the employee. So this is definitely subject to VAT because the second transaction, which is transfer of asset, is subjected to VAT, although the first angle, which is a salary account, is not subject to VAT. Similar way, if we talk about in the similar lines with the shareholders also, what the shareholders maybe are taking an asset, it can be a part of a capital transfer or a dividend. In those cases also, there are two legs of transaction. One, maybe the dividend account, which is not within the purview of VAT, or you can say exempt. And the second transaction is a transfer of asset, which is definitely a VATable transaction and due VAT should be accounted for. So that's a message which we are giving here. When you see a single leg of transaction, definitely look at how many steps are there in that transaction. Can we dissect it or not? If yes, then do dissect and look at each transaction individually rather than looking at a wrapping transaction. So thank you very much. Hope you liked the session, and thank you for all the previous likes and comments which you have given. Be safe till we meet together.